Get ready to have your mind blown because today we're diving into the world of AI-designed proteins. Yeah, you heard that right. Google, DeepMind's AlphaProteo, is making waves, huge waves in the scientific world. We're talking breakthroughs that could change, well, everything. Medicine, agriculture, you name it. And the best part, we're going to break it all down, all in the time it takes to brew your morning coffee.
That's right.
This all comes from a recent announcement from Google DeepMind, and let me tell you, it's a game changer. Now, you might be thinking, proteins, aren't those just like the things that help build muscles?
Well, they do that, but they do so much more.
Right, it's so much bigger than just muscles.
Way bigger.
Think of proteins like tiny but mighty workers inside every single cell in your body, carrying out all sorts of crucial tasks. Yeah. And what's really cool is how these proteins interact. They have very specific shapes, and when they find another molecule that fits that shape perfectly.
Like a lock and key?
Exactly, they lock together, boom, just like a key in a lock.
Precisely.
And that binding process, that's what drives a mind-boggling array of biological processes, I mean, everything.
Everything.
From how your body fights off infections to how your cells grow and repair themselves.
It's really quite incredible.
It really is. And get this, what makes AlphaProteo so revolutionary is that it can actually design brand new proteins from scratch.
I know, right?
It's like having a microscopic architect that can build like custom designed tools for our bodies.
That's a great way to put it.
And when we say custom designed, we mean it. Scientists can essentially give AlphaProteo a target, say a protein on the surface of a harmful virus. And AlphaProteo gets to work designing a protein that can bind to that target.
With incredible precision.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like giving a master sculptor a block of clay and saying, okay, we need a sculpture that fits perfectly into this puzzle.
Yeah.
But instead of a sculptor, we've got AI. And instead of clay, we're talking about the building blocks of life itself. Pretty wild, right?
Totally wild.
Now, you might be wondering, how on earth does AlphaProteo learn to do this?
It's all about the data.
The data.
Imagine feeding a supercomputer, like a library of every book ever written about proteins.
Okay, yeah.
That's essentially what DeepMind did. They trained AlphaProteo on a massive data set of protein information, both real structures from actual proteins and ones that were predicted by its AI cousin, AlphaFold.
So it learned from the best, both real and AI generated.
Exactly.
So it learned from the best, huh? Both real and AI generated, becoming like a master of protein structure.
Basically, yeah.
But it's not just about like memorizing shapes, is it? It's got to be about understanding the underlying rules, the how and why of how proteins interact.
Exactly. It's like, when you're, well, imagine teaching a computer to not only recognize a winning chess move, but to actually predict, like, the opponent's moves, but like 10 steps ahead.
Okay, yeah, so it's thinking strategically about proteins, not just seeing them.
Right.
Now, you're probably thinking, okay, this all sounds amazing and everything, but does it actually, work in practice?
Oh, it works.
It does?
Yeah, and the results, I'm telling you, they've been, astonishing is a word that comes to mind.
Really? Astonishing. Like how? Give me some numbers.
Okay, so for one target, it was this viral protein called, let me see if I can pronounce this right, BHRF1. Anyway, AlphaProteo, it had a success rate of 88% in designing these binders.
88%? Wow. That's like if you were playing basketball and you made like 9 out of 10 shots.
Yeah, that's the kind of accuracy we're talking about here.
That's amazing. So it actually works, but how well do the proteins actually bind? Because we talked about proteins binding together with different strengths, right?
Right. So scientists measure that binding strength, and they use something called binding affinity. It's basically like, imagine two puzzle pieces trying to fit together.
Okay.
The tighter those pieces fit, the higher the binding affinity.
So higher binding affinity, stronger the connection.
Exactly.
And what's really cool here is that AlphaProteo, it's designing these proteins with like way higher binding affinities than we've ever seen before.
It's true. This isn't just designing binders. It's designing binders that are crazy effective.
So we've got speed, we've got accuracy, we've got strength. I mean, what more could you ask for? But let's dive into a real world example here. Remember all the talk about the spike protein, from the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah.
That's what the virus uses to latch onto our cells, right?
Right.
So scientists were thinking, okay, what if we could design a protein that blocks that spike protein, essentially, acting like a molecular shield. So they basically handed AlphaProteo the challenge, right? Like, here are the blueprints for this spike protein. This is the exact spot that needs blocking. Go.
And, well, you're not going to believe this, but AlphaProteo, it did.
No way.
Yeah, it generated multiple protein binder designs.
So each one of these designs, they were specifically made to what? To latch onto that spike protein and then like stop it from attaching to our cells?
Exactly. That's the idea.
That's amazing. But okay, even with something this groundbreaking, we need a second opinion, right? We can't just take Google DeepMind's word for it.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where things get even more interesting.
Oh, how so?
So, a group of researchers, they were at the Francis Crick Institute.
Okay, so they're legit.
Yeah, they're totally legit, and they decided to, put AlphaProteo to the test themselves.
Okay, and what happened?
Well, let's just say that they were impressed.
Impressed. Like
Oh.
how? Give me the details.
Well, not only did they confirm that, AlphaProteo's designs were as good as advertised, but they also showed that some of those spike protein binders, get this, they could actually block SARS-CoV-2 infection in, like a lab setting.
Wow, so it actually like worked.
It worked.
That's incredible. And, if this doesn't get you excited about the future of medicine, I don't know what will. Just imagine a world where we could develop treatments for like pandemics and diseases so much faster.
And it's not just about viruses. Think about like cancer, Alzheimer's, even genetic disorders.
It's like we're talking about this whole new era of personalized medicine,
Exactly, because now we can design protein therapies that are like tailored to an individual's specific needs.
which used to sound like something out of a science fiction novel, but with AlphaProteo, it's becoming a reality.
It really is amazing.
It's incredible to think that, what used to take years and years of research, we can now do in a fraction of the time.
It really changes everything.
And the best part is, this is just the beginning, right? Yeah. Like, as AlphaProteo continues to learn and evolve, who knows what other scientific mysteries it will help us unlock. Well, there you have it, folks, a deep dive into the world of AI-designed proteins, from the basics of protein folding to the incredible potential of AlphaProteo, all in the time it took to finish your coffee. If you're as captivated by this as we are, we've got a link to the full article from Google DeepMind in the show notes. Make sure to check it out. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive.